and still battling and fighting with. And even in the Joseph B. Brown case that you all have seen earlier and prior to the hang noose incident and situation that is that was going on and stuff around here, that employee is still working down there in General Mills. It's still going on. It's like, you know, nothing is wrong, and still there's a lot of the prejudice and stuff that's going on. And you can hear the testimonies and look at the evidence, and you've seen it, and there will even be more. I will let you even hear some more evidence and things even concerning with the union. But nevertheless, I just wanted to bring this out to the public attention to let them view and see for themselves a lot of the corruption and stuff that is involving racism here with General Mills in the Kansas City area, what I have experienced, what they have done, what they're still doing, and what they're still trying to sweep under the rug as if, well, you know, everything is what they doing fine and dandy. Again, I want to just bring to the American people's attention concerning, you know, the racists and the racism that I have experienced even at General Mills, and even concerning the hang noose deal here. And this Joseph B. Brown, you heard the testimony of him, those who have heard and seen the evidence that was brought and presented against General Mills that I had, that even he himself had testified that he was very afraid, because no doubt General Mills or either other racist employees he felt that may have done him harm of some sort, that he had even literally went and locked himself up in a 9x4 room as he was still continued doing his work when he was assigned on midnights to do a particular job. And nevertheless, I personally talked in an interview with Mr. Joseph B. Brown, and when General Mills found out, well, for some reason or another, he is not talking or responding back to me, and he changed his number and everything. So my point is, General Mills no doubt has been very threatening to the young man, where he even at one time felt very fearful or even afraid for his life, which he had also mentioned on local TV news channel 5. You know, he brought all this out. So this is not no propaganda, this is not no slander, this is not something that just I'm trying to come up with. You can see the evidence that I present, and you can hear the testimony himself and what he said. And this is something that I believe that General Mills, and I know for a fact they don't want the public to know, but the public should know, because if this is the kind of stuff that is going on, I mean, I myself, Robert C. Dupree, had worked it down there for over 20 years, and they alleged that they fired me for poor job performance. And then here's another racist employee who also worked there for over 20 years, who was allowed to take a rope, literally, and put a noose in it, throw it over a steel beam, and call a black man to it. And this individual I'm talking about that was called to it was Joseph B. Brown, which he had already made public and known. Amen. That this is what had occurred. But General Mills, only thing they had done for us to that racist employee was to give him a pep talk about diversity and gave him a 3-day suspension. They have a no tolerance for this type of foolish hate crime act, but yet General Mills is refusing to do anything in regards of terminating that employee. But yet he is still down there working as if nothing had never even occurred. So again, I want to bring this to the public's attention. You've seen the evidence, and General Mills need to be held accountable for this. And like I said, this is something we know that racism is real. It's live here in America. It's not no secret about it. But unfortunately, if major corporation is condoning and allowing this type of behavior and conduct, well, you know, it need to be exposed. Again, concerning the racial prejudice that I have brought out against General Mills concerning some of my incidents that I have experienced, as well as the hang noose situation here with Joseph B. Brown. Now, I Robert Dupree had worked for General Mills for over 20 years, and because of racial prejudice, they alleged that they had fired me for poor job performance over 20 years. Right. You know something's wrong with that. And then back again, this other employee who was racist around up over here, he also worked for over 20 years down here at General Mills, and he's the one that literally took a rope, put a noose over it, hold over steel beam, and called this black man to it. Joseph B. Brown is the black man who was called to it, and this also had been known on local news TV5. So it's not propaganda, it's not slander. General Mills only called it just isolated incident. No, actually it's a hate crime act. It's a reflection against all of us as blacks, because we know what our ancestors and forefathers had went through. And this racist employees are still employed down here at General Mills as if it wasn't nothing. And the only action that was taken against this employee was the fact that General Mills had given him a 3-day suspension and a pep talk about diversity. It's a hate crime act. General Mills need to be held accountable for it and honor their zero no tolerance policy, which they are not. This type of action should have been immediate termination, but yet General Mills treated as if it's not anything. And again, General Mills need to be held accountable for it. They don't want the public to hear or know the truth about how a lot of the prejudice and racism and stuff is still even going on at General Mills, and a lot of people are not going to come forth and say too much about anything, because that means their livelihood. And I'm first-hand witness to that effect, because I stood up for my rights against the racial prejudice. Well, this is what the results of. They lied and said that they fired me for poor job performance, despite all the other harassing, prejudice, discriminatory action that they have taken against me. And so I just want to again bring this out to the media's public attention. And this Joseph B. Brown, him and I, we were at one time was communicating, and the young man even stated over the news that he was afraid, no doubt, because when he had filed EEOC charges against this particular racist employee or the company, you know, they had lined him up on midnights, and he felt that he was may have been threatened or some sort. He felt very uncomfortable and not safe, and so he actually locked himself up in a 9x4 room as he continued doing his job. And he felt and believed that no doubt General Mills or even the other racist employee retaliated against him, and even to the point where he felt that some harm may have been done to him. So again, I just wanted to bring this here out to the public's attention. And this Joseph B. Brown and I, we were talking, but now General Mills no doubt had gotten the young man not to even call or talk to me or respond or anything to me of that nature. So if this ever General Mills make a respond to what I'm saying here, well, no doubt this Joseph B. Brown probably not going to say too much of anything, because like I said earlier, when we were going public against what General Mills had done, well, somehow General Mills had gotten to this young man where he won't even speak as Hulk or say anything. As a matter of fact, the rest of the employees, General Mills got where they won't speak or say anything to me as well. So there's still a lot of the racial prejudice and retaliation and things that is going on, and no doubt that will cause people to lose their jobs. And I just want to bring this to the media and to the public's attention. And again, as I stated, I want to bring out some of the relevant evidence that the union had brought and made against the company concerning issues here that they had brought concerning my investigation that they had taken back in 2000. You know, when they was investigating with this, a lot of the racist and prejudice stuff that's been going on for years at General Mills, and how this even still in many cases is going on. But in this cause of action of mine, Robert C. Dupree, I just want to show the American people some of the strong evidence that the union, bakery, confectionery, tobacco worker, and local number 16G of Green Miller had gotten against General Mills, but yet they refused to arbitrate my case. And concerning my witnesses, this is what the union, and I'm having legal documents here that I have before me here, this is what the union had to say concerning my witness here, that on the most part, they was in my favor, on the most part. And then concerning witnesses as being retaliated against or being intimidated because of the company or certain supervisors coming after him because they had made statements of such. You know, he stated how that many of the people was afraid been retaliated against or been